Friends. How many of us have them? So, what I believe most men in this world need, well, all men need, is a good group of friendship, a good group of brothers, a brotherhood, or a good group of friends that can uplift each other. Because as men, we go through a whole lot, and it's to a point where, in order for us to become better, we need people around us that can make us better. And like, I believe we gotta define in our life what friendship means and what a friend, who a friend is to each other, so that there are no blurred lines or no unreasonable expectations being set in which other people, other parties are not aware of, so that they can become what the other person needs. For me, my definition of a friend is someone with integrity, so that I know that they can be trusted. I believe integrity is the number one quality I look for in people, because with a man or a woman of integrity, it's just some things you just not going to do. And if I know that you are that type of person, then I can trust you more than I would be able to trust someone who just out for themselves. This means that I have to be truthful with them, and they have to be truthful with me. Because I believe, like the Bible says, iron sharpens iron, so that if I'm in need of correction or improvement or anything that could make me stronger, I'm all for it. I prefer my friends to be stronger in areas that I'm weak in. That way that I can grow in those areas, and I could potentially help them in areas that they're weak in. And we could come together in our strengths as well to make us even stronger. Because if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. We don't have to have the same goals. I just love for my friends to just be as passionate and strong-willed with their goals as I am with mine. If I call you a friend, you must accept what comes with who I am as a friend. That is a must-have for me, because I'm not changing who I am for anyone outside of myself. If I'm changing, it's for the better of me and the people around me. I don't believe that I am someone who's negative or like I used to be. I believe that I've grown to a place in which I can really be an asset. So if I'm around people who don't like do things like try to like dim my light in ways as cutting me off every time I speak. What have I witnessed? Cut me off every time I speak. Make me feel dumb for the things that I say. Joke about everything as if like I'm less than. Like, those are some of the things I experienced, and in that moment I did not know what it was. But now that I'm out of it, I realize like they really were my friends. Just because somebody call you a brother or a homie or a friend don't necessarily mean that. Or it could have meant that yesterday, but it does not mean that today. So it got to get to a point where we understand it. Because what I realized and witnessed, that one man can really be in your corner for the reasons that benefit them. They look at you as beneficial and not as an official friend. So what I believe needs to happen in all relationships is communication. I'm the one that's not going to allow you to stay in a low place for too long either. Like, I'm the one that's going to motivate you and get you to understand that if you put your mind and your grind to it, then anything is possible. Like, those are the type of people I want around me, because like as men, we have a purpose and a calling on our life to just to be, especially black men, to just be great, because the world fears us. And then we can all get on one accord and really come together to really to move as one. There's nothing we cannot do. And if you say you don't have these people in your life that motivate you, or that want to see you do well, or that can just inspire you to be better, then the people around you aren't who you want to rely on. My final thought is to really just be what you want to see. And when you do that, it'll weed out everyone else who can't fulfill the duties in which you expect to be filled. Like, I believe we gotta redefine the word friend, because coming up in life, you really only meet people, whether it's through school, whether that's through an activity that you do, or like through coworkers. So like people, like, just because you see them often, people quick to label somebody as their friend because they ain't like good relationship with them. But until like you really see them as a whole person outside of the wherever you met them at, you really, to me, I don't believe can call them a friend immediately, because you really don't truly know that person. Like, they could be very good acquaintance, but they don't really, until you really, because if you, depending on how you define a friend, they might not have met all of those criteria, but the fact that they're in close proximity with you, you get to that point, and then when they do something to hurt you, it's like, dang, I got trust them. But if we really go back and look at it, did they do all of the things that warranted the trust that they should have gotten? And most times is no. And I believe that you really get to a point of understanding.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I believe you get to a point of understanding, like, when you take the accountability, like, dang, I moved too quick. It was on me. Because if not, then you get to a point where, like, I shut down and can't trust anybody because of the last person that I trust hurt me. But it was like they really shouldn't have been put in a position to be able to do that to you. But instead of you actually giving yourself an outline or a guideline of what you go by to make sure that these persons check off the qualities that you're looking for in a friend, then that's when you can say, oh, okay, no, they cool. Like, they ain't no friend. Because for me, like, I look at friend like you, like, it's different, like, because I gotta trust you. I gotta trust you with everything in me. My homeboy, like, he had a life altering event, but like me and him was brothers, like we locked in. But I tell him, like, I'm getting back money and I'm a marry you. He got upset. Like, the nigga got mad. Like, not once did he say, all right, bro, you happy, you good, I'm happy for you. Nigga told me, like, that's the dumbest shit I could have ever done. Like, how you... Exactly. Exactly. And that's how I feel a friend's supposed to be. Like, if you happy, if you like it, I love it. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, who am I to say this person, just because that's the person that I knew, don't mean that that's the person that's still there. So, like, if I got to a point, like if it was some contingency, then that's cool. Like, but this person ain't even come around or wasn't around to even see that the person was different. You going off a past version of somebody that's no longer there. So it's like, how can you then say what you say but not knowing the situation? So, like, in your instance, to me, I can respect that, because at the end of the day, like, that's your life you gotta live. And if that woman brought you joy and happiness and peace enough for you to say, okay, I want to marry her, I want to have a family with her and move forward in my life, who am I to say no? Because that could have been your best decision you've ever made. So I'm gonna support you. Exactly. And if it works out, you gonna look at me like, dang, that's a hating ass nigga. Like, in some way, shape, or form, because why you ain't supporting me? Why you telling me this and this and this and it's working out? So now it's like, damn, now you second guessing, does dog really got my back for real, or what is it? Because he could have just been honest on what he saw. But until that time presents itself for him to say, hey, this is what I feel, then it's like, okay, like, because even he could have eventually came out with it like 2-3 years later, like, yeah, you know, I was a little against this at first, but I'm glad I reserved my comment, because, you know, y'all doing y'all thing, which still can get him his his piece and let you know how he felt, but at the same time, him standing to correct himself like I was wrong. Not having new friends, I think that's healthy to have new friends because a lot of people only friends with the old version of you. So as you grow, as you grow, it's like now it's time to evaluate the people in your life. Or like, if you're doing stuff differently than you did 10 years ago, and they still doing the same thing, it's like how are they best suitable? Like you not saying cut them off, but like are they best suitable for this new version of you? And I believe that most times that because we don't really know how to gain new friends, it's hard for us to really actually, and I believe that no new friend statement really come from you, me, or people in general not want to be vulnerable. Because it's like now you gotta open yourself up again to somebody new, and then these people grew up with you, so it's like they now been around to see you, and it's like they had not a preview, but like an insight on your life because they've been with you over the years as you grew up. But now it's like you got to get to a point where you got to open up to people who ain't been that route with you and then see. But I believe that the way we do this is create a checklist. You got to create a guideline or outline of what that person's supposed to be, what you look for in a friend, so that if they possess these qualities, then that give you enough reserve to say, okay, well, I can open up here or maybe open up here, but not give it all to them at one time, or give them just bits and pieces until you can see how they handle it. But I believe as you grow, it's gonna be a season for new friends. And I learned that when I grew my hair out, and I'm like, there's people that'll never know Fade with Waves Joe, and they don't have to. And I don't got to share that part with them. But like they can know me from this person and who I am based upon all the lessons I've learned throughout the time that I was Fade with Waves. And now that I'm locked up, now it's like, okay, now all that was a combination of who I am, but you get to meet what I would say will be the finished product. Even though I'm still working on myself, and I'm not a finished product, but compared to who I was, this is a finished product because I'm no longer that person. So that person is dead and obsolete. So for you, this is now a finished product, and that I'm constantly evolving. So I'm constantly shedding an old version of myself, really daily for real. And it's like, okay, well now I don't have to go every per time I meet somebody. I don't have to go all the way back to when I was 17, when I was 19, when I was 23, when I was 25. I don't have to do all that. All you gotta know is who I am at this current moment. And if you don't meet the standards and the criteria who I'm looking for as a friend or a companion or somebody that can pour into me as I pour into them, then you don't suit my needs in this current moment in my life. I agree, because it's like you still living in the past. If every time you meet somebody and they talking about what happened in 05, like that's like a nigga saying, man, 05, I was that nigga. You feel me? Like 05, and I had bricks galore, man. I was the dope man in the city. Like I was like, you don't want to hear that, nigga. It's 2024. What you doing now? What you doing now? Like so. I have to agree with that one. So it's like, why you keep bringing up the past? Because it's like if those are glory days. If those was your glory days, then we damn near 20 years removed from that. Then we ain't really got nothing to talk about for real, because you've been going downhill since then. So if that's where you going, you ain't got no more rise in you at all. Like what we doing? I think I just had a moment. And it's some of them people gonna always see you like that. Like for me, they still see me as Lil Joe. And I tell them, stop calling me Lil Joe. Like, I ain't nothing little about me. But like some of them still feel like that because I'm named after my daddy, or I look just like him, or that's what they always call me as. So for me, I said, okay, if I can't tell, if y'all not listening to me through my words on this is, I'm no longer that person, I'm going to show y'all through my actions. I'm going to show y'all through everything that I do, because I know that I'm no longer Lil Joe. I know that my mind is when I was a child, I spoke as a child, and I'm no longer there. So the fact that, and then you gotta understand too that some people gonna see you as that little person or whoever they see you as because they don't want to make themselves seem smaller. Because you was once that little person and you no longer that little person anymore. So the fact that you no longer that little person anymore, they gotta come to reality with themselves that not only have you outgrown them, that they stopped growing. And oh, that's so good. They have stopped growing. So the fact that they stopped growing, they gotta continue to see you as the little person when they were bigger, because they still living in their glory days and there's no longer past is behind them, and they don't feel like there's nothing left in their future. So they gotta keep looking in the past on who you used to be so they can remember who they used to be. This is what you're saying is you would go back for your marriage, but you don't want to go back to the person that she is. So in order for it to really work, y'all both will have to understand where y'all went wrong and understand to put place a plan so that y'all can become better. And then they got to come to a point of apology and then understanding that y'all both were wrong and acknowledge where y'all both were wrong and then come up with a plan so that y'all can become better so that it won't have to be what it used to be. That's the real reason like Money and I created our podcast, bro. It wasn't like I don't care to put my business out there. Like it was just the fact that the matter is like our generation is not talked about how you problem solve, how you get through some of this stuff. And you really gotta choose each other every single day. And it's like if you don't, then that's when you allow other stuff to come in. No, it ain't peaches and cream. No, it ain't where like I wanna be. Like I got a whole lot of issues that I be working on. I'm just grateful that Money quick to forgive me so that we can move forward, because if you hold on to it, ain't no way we can get past it. So like I be Money be mad at me probably 15-20 times a day, but it be like, all right baby, I love you, like, and I show through my actions like, okay, I'm taking care of this and I'm taking care of this. Am I doing the most that I could, that I dreamed that I can do? No, I'm not. But I'm working to show up every single day in ways that I have been shortcutting myself so that I can prove to not only myself but to my family like, hey, I got this. And that's all I ask for, is to be like, okay, cool. Because like Money held me down for so long, bro. Like when I really pop the way that I know that I am, man, Money getting the world from me, bro. And it's just off the love that I have for her, just because like it didn't have to be that way, and the fact that it is, it's like I don't have no choice but to show you how much I love you through all my actions and my deeds, because like I truly ultimately do, like, and I do stuff for her that like you can't even quantify with money, like just the way that I help with her thinking and her speaking and her faith and just a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's like I understand those things are intangible that you really can't measure, but I want to do things that you can truly, really measure. But my love is really unconditional, for real. Understanding and putting a list of criteria together on what you need a friend to be, because them ultimately really not friends. If we look at the definition of what a friend is, them somebody that's just a cool ass nigga. Like, and that's all it is somebody to hang out with when it's time to watch the game or something. Y'all go to a bar and just chill out for that. But like that, them type of people shouldn't be allowed to your house, because that's your safe space and your peace. And somebody that ain't willing to do anything and help you in regards of you becoming a better person, so now you can be allowed in your house where you lay your head in, because it's like that's bringing issues and demons into a place that shouldn't even be there, because they just entering, they just there. We gotta really realize that demons live inside of people, and everybody ain't healed and everybody ain't whole. So that comes to a simple fact that like if they could bleach off you and then bring some stuff around you and break a dark cloud of energy around you, that ain't nobody you want around. You gotta let them go though. You gotta let them go. You gotta let them go for the simple fact that it's gonna hold you back. So you gotta get to a point where you say, all right, this is who I am. This is who I want to be. And everything, when you got to make a list of this is who I am, and everything that's on that list of who you are at your present moment, with the person that, okay, I got friends I got people that I call friends in my life because I known them since then, but they don't benefit me. I've been holding on to stuff that happened in my past because I felt I had to prove stuff to people. Like all of the stuff that we talked about today and that we haven't talked about of who you currently are, you got to write down that list. Then you got to write on the other side of that paper who you want to be. And everything that does not serve you on who you are now to who you want to be, you got to let go. Because if you don't, you will never become that person you want to be. All of that is a hindrance. And if in order to have different, you gotta do different. But in order to do different, you gotta be different. And that's just the equation that it is to becoming a better person, all around individual in life. Yep. And then from this point forward, you gotta move accordingly to who you want to be. You gotta create the person who you want to be, and every day from this point forward, be that person until you see him. You have to be the dressing, however you see yourself dressing in the future, how you see yourself carrying yourself, how you introduce yourself, how you hold your head up when you walk down hallways and you get out the car. All of those things matter. You gotta take into account every single thing. Make sure you look at a man in his eye, because I had to work on that. Like I realized that I didn't really look at people in the eye all the time. I'm still struggling with it because it's new to me, but I'm making sure I look everybody that I speak to in the eye. It's a little different, but I really haven't been used to it. Like I look them in their nose area, but I've never really looked them in the eye. So I'm like, okay, well, let me start looking these people in the eye. So that's something that I've been working to become better at. On link next week, I'm gonna figure out what my camera is working. I'm buying a webcam, so this won't happen again. But we about to sign off, and until next time.